Thank you so much, Kelly J. Um, yes? Now, that's okay for sound, is it?
Yep.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, men and women, mums and dads, aunties and uncles, you get the general drift, I hope. Once upon a time, there was a gay rights civil movement, which had as its legitimate aim the elimination of persecution and discrimination against gay people. These were things like the legal recognition of our relationships, protection against arbitrary sacking and the refusal of employment, and treating violence against us as a serious crime, and similar matters. That movement has enjoyed much success, success that I have seen in my lifetime. So far, so good, and so far, so legitimate. However, what we are now presented with daily is an ever-expanding alphabet soup of extreme and unbounded demands, complete with 100 genders and 75 pronouns, or is it the other way round? I lose track. This is an open-ended set of radical demands that Australians are being encouraged to regard in the same light as this legitimate social movement. Now, ladies and gentlemen, consider the extraordinary phenomena that we have witnessed across the world and in this country for the last 10 to 15 years. Things that have never before been seen or heard of. Now, I had a great big long list and I'm going to cut it down in the interest of brevity, but here are a couple. Males housed alongside women in women's prisons, and serious offences committed by males being recorded as female crimes. Women being erased in medical and social terminology in the name of a bogus inclusivity, which actually excludes half of the human race. We have debasing terms like birthing parent, chest feeder, person who bleeds, menstruator, the whole catastrophe. Now, worst of all, we have young people being encouraged to believe that they can resolve all of their inner conflicts by changing their sex, rather than by freely developing their own talents, interests and personalities without being limited by their sex. This is a truly catastrophic development with long-term consequences. And we also have, and it pains me to say it, and other speakers have said it, we have the premature sexualisation of children, turbocharged by propaganda in schools and the social media. Now, less obviously to the general public, we also have medical, scientific and social statistics being confounded by the recording of gender identity rather than biological sex. Another truly catastrophic development with long-term consequences. Now, how did this all happen seemingly overnight, going into overdrive in the last 10 years? Now, the short answer, I think, can be boiled down to two things. Firstly, staggering sums of money are being spent by both government and corporations to buy influence. Now, this is the complete opposite of a legitimate grassroots social movement. It is the complete opposite, ladies and gentlemen. It has nothing whatsoever to do with it. And we also have that same influence being peddled by captured public bodies. Now, dear Auntie ABC, our public broadcaster, I'm looking at you. Now, the second thing I think, is the blinding pace of uncontrolled technological change, but specifically the advent of social media and the smartphone, which mainlines the aforementioned influence right into our hearts and souls and our families, and especially the hearts and souls of our young people, because they are digital natives and many of us here are not. So, at this point, I must emphasise very strongly, once again, we are not talking about the legitimate civil rights of same-sex attracted people, nor are we talking about any minority deserving of support. This is not about people subject to severe body dysphorias or those who have rare medical issues. Millions and millions and millions of dollars are not being spent to support those people. It is all about something else. And such people can be accommodated with circumscribed and reasonable accommodations without upending the rights of women and without compromising the safeguarding of children. So, that's what we're not talking about. What we really are talking about, and other speakers have alluded to this, we are talking about the open-ended elimination of the material reality of sex, to be replaced by the amorphous and indefinable category gender identity. This process is being legally driven by bills allowing unbridled gender self-ID and also by so-called conversion therapy bills which use gay rights as a cover to forbid conversion therapy in a manner that sweepingly and open-endedly includes gender identity as a protected characteristic. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the heart of the problem and the common thread linking all of the insane developments which myself and other speakers have itemised earlier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a few requests here. First of all, ask your Member of Parliament one simple question. I don't care what side of politics you're on, ask your Member of Parliament this question. What is a woman? If you don't like the answer you get, and especially if the word identify features anywhere, remember that this incoherence is about to be written into law in New South Wales. Now, we don't have, so far as I know, any detail on the actual content of this law, but it is very probably going to be similar to extreme legislation that has already been passed in Victoria, so do go and have a look at that. Okay, that was one request. The second request, make it your business as a matter of the utmost urgency to scrutinise the omnibus bill proposed by Alex Greenwich and which is to go in front of the New South Wales Parliament. These areas of concern that I have noted, gender self-ID and so-called conversion therapy, look at how that bill is worded and the ramifications and the opportunities that will be opened if that legislation goes through in the way that I suspect that it will. Now, the third thing I would ask you all to do is have a look at the excellent website called aconexposed.org. It's one word, aconexposed.org. That website will enable you to see just how much this private organisation, ACON, how much influence they have on public policy and corporate practice. Now, the fourth thing I would like you to do, parents, have a long, hard look at what your child or teenager is being taught in school. Parents, have a long, hard look at what your child or teenager is consuming online. And for everybody, regardless of your political views or your station in life or anything else about you, do not feel that your legitimate concerns necessarily make you some kind of a phobe or bigot, as is so frequently and so publicly alleged. Many people from all walks of life and differing political views harbour such concerns and should not be summarily dismissed by our political representatives. Now, okay, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, as an unwilling member of the current alphabet soup, note the L. Now, as a lesbian from a regional township, I thought in my youth that there simply couldn't possibly be another one in the whole of Australia. So I reckon I've earned my stripes to criticise what's being said and being done in the name of LGBT rights, courtesy of the ever-expanding alphabet soup. And I stand with what I believe to be the sane and sensible Australian majority. And I proclaim loudly, not in my name. So I'd like to thank Kelly J. Keenan, Standing for Women, for providing this wonderful opportunity for all of us to speak. And we've heard some people from the Conservative and the Christian side of things, and they've said things that I absolutely agree with. This is not a partisan issue. I myself am an atheist, a leftist, and a former Greenie because I simply can't vote for them anymore while they go on with this rubbish.